Everybody, thanks for watching this getting started guide to the Wandering Village. My name is Sarmate. In this video, we're going to be talking about a couple things. I'm going to go over the UI a little bit here. We're going to talk about the first few buildings that I think are a good idea to start building. And we're going to talk a little bit about text. I will have a video going in depth on text specifically, if you're interested in that. We're going to also give a couple tips here and there towards the end. So to go over the UI, we have in the top left, we have really basic materials here to get started. We have berries, which is a type of food. We have wood, stone, and water. As you get discovering more and more resources, this bar is going to expand and you'll have all sorts of fun things on there eventually. On the right side, we have research, we have food details, population details, this is game speed, and then we have Elder's Notebook, which is kind of just a help guide, and then bugs and settings. Down below here, we have the temperature, humidity, and the toxicity level. Now in this game, your critter walks all around in this world and there's toxic spores everywhere. So you have to keep your eyes peeled for those. And then over here, we have the Onbu's heartbeat, which is a 3.0 beats per minute, the current time of day and the day number. We also have the village, the Onbu, and the world map views. So the hotkeys are those 4, 5, and 6. We also have the Onbu's health. That's what this green ring is. As it goes through different toxic levels, maybe walking over hot sand, pay attention to this health bar because it will deteriorate a little bit. We also have the Onbu poison level that will increase once it hits 100. You're in trouble. And then the Onbu hunger. Once this hits 100, then it's Onbu starves to death. And then this is Onbu's sleepiness. Every so often, he takes a nap. Okay, and then here on the bottom, we have our kind of our chat window that pops up here. Just, notifications, things that are happening in the game. And then we have the harvest tool, priority tool. We have the building menu, the deconstruction tool, and finally the research tree. So if we go ahead and hit the harvest tool, you can see we have a couple things that pop up here. We can remove harvest task, harvest only fully grown objects, harvest everything, harvest only crops, only trees, and only rocks. So pretty handy. You can see here we can select these things. You get a little balloon that shows up. That's going to designate this thing is to be gathered. The priority tool. We have remove priority, priority 1, 2, and 3. So the higher the priority, the more quickly they'll do it. If you have a bunch of things going, you can list the priority you want them built, and they will build in accordance to that priority. And then on this side, we have the deconstruction tool. We're just going to highlight buildings with this little grid dot here, and that'll deconstruct them. And then the research tree. So let's go into the building menu first here before we look at the tech trees. And the very first couple things that I like to get built up are going to be the research building. I like 2 of these because this game doesn't allow a whole lot of time for you. So you gotta get your research stuff done quickly, because at any point, really, you could have a spore cloud come by, and if that goes over the top of your Onbu in your village, and you can't deal with it, it's pretty much game over, and you have to start over. So you want to be able to be prepared for those toxic spores, because they are a bugger. You get your research done with the research buildings. Another really sweet building to get started with is the worker post. These designate a worker specialization. There's a couple of them in this game. We have general workers, gatherers, harvesters, carriers, and builders. So those each are different aspects of what a villager does on a day-to-day basis. If, for example, you really want 5 builders to only be building stuff, maybe you want to do a whole new neighborhood or something, you have those builders and they're only going to be building. But if they're general, they could be building, gathering, harvesting, or carrying stuff around. And so they may not get to that building as quickly as you may like them to. So that's the purpose of the specializations on the worker post. Pretty important stuff. And then finally, we have several things here. We can go through it. What we got: dirt roads. We have tent, worker posts, and research buildings. These are just the basic village things you start with. We have a couple storage items, which are pretty important. We have material storage, water tank, and pantry. Material storage is things mostly not food, and pantry is food focused. These are also pretty good things to get going in here. Let's go ahead and pop a couple of these down. We got material storage and then the pantry. I'm going to skip over water tank for now. and I'll tell you why when we get to setting up some farms. Okay, the next thing is going to be the food. We have air well, berry gatherers, and farms. So the air well is going to be the way you get water. It takes it from the air instead of like in other games where you have a ground well. This is an air well. The berry gatherer, there are berries around. You can see a bunch right in here. And then farms are a way to gather specific crops. There's beets, there's cactuses, tomatoes, wheat, and corn in this game. Okay, the next thing is raw resources. We don't have anything learned yet. Refined resources, the carpenter and the stone cutter. So these two things are pretty important. The carpenter is going to be giving you planks from your basic wood that you gather up from the trees, and the stone cutter is going to make stone slabs from the stones that are around here. Now, the next building I would suggest you put in here is going to be the carpenter, and this is, again, all speed focused. So we want to get the carpenter so we can get planks so that we can build a building called the Hornblower, and that's going to be able to control the Onbu once you earn its trust. So that's going to take a little bit to do, and there's a couple of things we need to do get building up before we can even do that. We have Onbu food, and the mycologist grows mushrooms, and this is one of those things, key things you need to be able to contact and control your Onbu. So it's going to be a very important thing to get built up here pretty much right after we get going. Onbu interaction, we have nothing yet. And then poison herbalist, another really, really important key piece to recovering from poison. You get poison from picking up immigrants, you get poison from scavenging, you get poison from walking through clouds. Lots of things that you're going to need your herbalist for. And then finally, exploration, we have nothing yet. All right, so that's the basic rundown of what we are going to get started here. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can see, they grab a couple of little piles of things here and get going right away. Now, they quickly burn through the goods. Oh, and here's the research tree pops up right away. So if we open up the research tree, there's quite a few different things you can get into. And if you notice, some of these things, like these buildings on the left here, don't have a little number by them. And what the little number is knowledge. And there's only one way so far that you can get knowledge, and that's with the scavenger hut. So we aren't going to quite go there just yet because, again, that poison is something we got to watch out for. So we're going to start with a Hornblower, and I'll go into a more specific tech tree path here once in another video. I'll link that in the description, and I'll have a little tag up in there in the top right. You can check that out if you're curious about the text after this video. So there, we're going to go ahead and get the Hornblowers started. And these guys are going to take 2 people apiece. So that's going to be 4 worker posts. Oh, here we can see we have the specializations down here, the focus, general workers, builders, carriers, harvesters, and general workers. So if these 2 people that are assigned to this are going to be general workers, and the reason why these things are handy is because they give a small movement speed boost. So if you got things that you're gathering all across way over here, it makes sense to have people assigned to a specialty so that they get that small movement speed boost. It's just some nice thing to have. Okay, so now if we check this out, we have used up all of our resources right now. So we gotta do some things. We gotta mark some stuff up. So we need some wood for this guy. We need some wood and stone. Most of these are gonna all take wood and stone. So how do we get that? Well, let's grab our harvest tool. We want to make sure that we have harvest all selected, or you're just harvesting crops or trees or stone, depending on what you're looking for. In this case, we're gonna go harvest all. We got a nice little bundle of trees right here and some rocks. We're gonna go ahead and grab the plain rocks. Now, there is also these things right here. What these are the Onbu spikes. And I'm going to say don't harvest those, at least not right away. Because if you do, it hurts Onbu's trust in you. Can be harvested, but reduces its trust. It is 30 stone, so it's pretty nice. But what we want to do is control it right away. So we don't want it to have distrust in us. We want it to be our buddy so that we can all live together. It's a symbiotic relationship. We got to keep Onbu alive, and Onbu's going to keep us alive. But we got our stuff broken down. We're going ahead and bringing it in, building it up. And in this game, we also have roads, of course, slightly faster on dirt roads. Our movement speed is slightly faster on dirt roads, but I'm not going to take the time right now to build the dirt roads. It's just a little bit too much when we really need to get going here. Once it slows down a touch, then we will be able to do that. So we got our worker posts. We got 2 of those people. So let's go ahead and add a couple of people to this. And you can see here they're working. They're moving to employment. Now we have 5 as the general workers. We have the speed boost. And then let's go over here and do the same. So again, general workers are general. They're not specialized in anything in particular, like harvesting or building. So we got a couple people here that are building some stuff. Oh, let's look at this a little bit further. We have the population. The population level is basic. The total people is 16 and total housing is 0. So that's the next thing that we should probably get into is the tent. So if we build 8 of these, since we have 16, tents take up 2 people each. So we'll go ahead and do a line of 8 of these. And go, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. If you hold shift, you can continue to create the same building. If you don't, you only create 1. Keep that in mind. Little hotkey there. We're gonna go ahead and look to see what we need. We need some wood. Let's go ahead again, mark some stuff up. Don't grab the spike. We're gonna go ahead and do that. Mark some stuff up. Now we are gonna be running out of food here pretty quick. So that's what this is telling us. See the 3 down arrows? That means we're losing a ton of food and we aren't gathering any. So we have this nice consumption and production numbers very clear. We're consuming 16, we're producing nothing. We need to do something about that. The next thing to do is get our berry gatherer going. And these little guys are the berry bushes. So check this out. So if we get over here, you get an efficiency number that pops up. If you take away more, you reduce the efficiency. Makes sense? So we go ahead, we want to find the highest we can get, about 63 right here, but I am going to take this one guy out. So we're going to go right there, and that thing is going to get built up. So we mentioned the priority tool down here. We can also do the priority right here. So whatever you feel more comfortable with or get used to, so we're going to go ahead and speed this game up. We're going to use up some of those logs that we just gathered up to build our tents and the berries here. And what else we need here for the carpenter? A little bit more stone. So let's go ahead and we'll grab some stone over here. Get the rest of our stuff built up. All right, all of our buildings have been created, so we're looking pretty good. We need a few more workers on this berry farm over here, so we're gonna add a worker. You can see that this outline of a worker is here. That means the building is accepting 1 more worker. You hit plus, you add another one. That's up to a total of 3, minus, you reduce it. If we go ahead and do like this, and then we come over into the worker post and hit a minus, this will go away because that worker is going to move over here. You can see they have the little transition thing again, and now they're moving over here. And then now we have 2 workers getting some berries for the rest of the town. We're going to be ignoring research for now. We aren't going to be getting deep enough into the game to where it's going to be mattering for this video. So we're just going to skip it for now. And because I want to have a couple more workers, I'm going to go ahead and take a couple people out of the research building for now. Okay, so we have our villagers' food going pretty good. If we build 1 more, which we're going to want to do, that should be pretty sufficient for food for a little while here. We don't need to get into farms right away. The problem with the farms is they require a lot of water. And water gets hard to come by when Onbu wanders itself into the desert. So there's quite a few different biomes here. Let's see if we can see a couple of them here. So the pink is the mountain. There will be a tan color for sand. And I'm not certain what the green one is. We have the Hornblower now. So we have wood and wood planks. So you can see here we have somebody, the carpenter, making our wood planks. We have 2 made up. So the Hornblower can only be built up by Onbu's head over here. Makes sense so that he can hear it. We're going to go ahead and plop it down. So we're still got to make a couple more of these planks. But you can see we already have somebody running over there to start building up on that Hornblower. And then let's go ahead and we want to start getting food for Onbu as well. So that's going to be, again, the mycologist, going to grow mushrooms. So the thing with this guy is that the building can be placed in the green, but it can't produce any mushrooms unless those mushrooms are in the brown. So you can see there that the dots turned a lighter color. So we're going to go ahead and kind of borderline it about right here. So we can build mushrooms all up in this space, but not over here. I'll show you that in just a moment once it gets built up. Now, the herbalist is going to be similar to where it can be built on either the dirt or the grass, but you can only build herbs on the grass. You can see we got lighter dots here, darker dots here, can't build over here. So we're going to go ahead and just get this guy kind of about right over in this area, and we just got to wait for these to get built up. So we need wood, stone, wood, stone. So something to keep in mind is notice how these people are just hanging out, just twiddling their thumbs, nothing to do. 16 people, 13 of them are idle. That's because we haven't been marking anything to gather. Something you gotta do in this game for quite a while is continuously mark your trees and your rocks for gathering. Again, make sure you don't get any spikes. But go ahead and just continue to pick up some trees here and there, get those rocks working, and they'll go out and do the thing. All right, we have our mycologist ready to go. So here's the interface for farms. They're all pretty similar. What we have is, again, the number of workers. We have the plot. We have add plots or subtract plots, plant or harvest, or both. And then we have what plant is going to be here, mushrooms. The requirement, 1 water. The temperature, so there's different temperatures, and remember, we got to be careful and paying attention to where the onbu is to see if we can actually make whatever food we're trying to make. And then tool is compost. We don't have that just yet, so we're just going to not do anything with it. So let's go ahead and we will go and hit add plot. And you can see we can plot over here, but we can't plot in the green. So we can just go ahead and mark this whole area, and they'll mark it, and then they go out, grab some water, grab some spores, and there we go. We got a little mushroom started already. So keep that in mind. Now, we are going to be running out of water here pretty quickly with this. There's only so much in here, right? So we have to go back and get our air well started. Now that we have a little bit of stone saved up, we need a little bit more logs because we're using a lot of them for our carpenter. But let's get our air well going. So we'll get that guy, plop that in, and then with the air well, it has its own internal storage. So lots of buildings in this game have their own internal storage, just like this guy. The berry gatherers also have their own internal storage. And then if that's full, they'll bring them over to the pantry here. You can see that we have some berries in there. So that's working pretty great. We did get a little notification here, and if we zoom out, we can see what's going on. This guy says that you encountered a small group of nomads looking for a home. Will you let them join the village? So we can pick them up, send them away, we can postpone it, or we can commit right away. Let's commit right away. We're gonna get 3 nomads, pushing us up to 19, and of course now we're gonna have to add some more people to gather up some berries to keep feeding everybody. So we'll get that berry, another person in that berry gatherer, and we'll have put 1 more in this one as well. So we'll have plenty of berries coming in to feed our 19 people right now. As soon as you get to 20 people, that's going to up your population level, and then you're going to be needing the kitchen, which is going to produce a more refined food. So now that we have a couple more people as well, let's go ahead and put a few more tents in. Okay, again, keep gathering. We got to keep doing this, keep building up just ever so slightly, little bit by little bit. Oh, there's something else. As you're gathering around, you notice that we have a couple orange trees. So these are called mother trees, still growing mother tree that can already be harvested but doesn't produce offspring. So if you have a mature mother tree, it will continue to produce offspring around. You'll continue to get trees. So don't cut down your mother trees. You want to have those so you can continue to get lots and lots of trees going on. We also have these giant trunks and these boulders, and we need the sawmill and the quarry for these guys. So we can't do anything with those just yet. That's way down the line in our research tree. Okay, we have our air well built up finally, and we got our production. You can see that it's increasing, and then we'll have 3 water, and then it goes into its inventory. The villagers will come over here, grab it from the air well, and bring it over to wherever we need it, be it this farm or this farm. Again, let's go ahead and add some herb farms over here. We'll go ahead and put the plots in, and there we go. We are off making ourselves some medicinal herbs, a very, very, very important piece. Same layout as the mycologist. We're going to require 1 water per. We have 20 stored up, and we are accumulating more with the air well. Now, something that happens is the Onbu can wander into the desert biome, and then the desert, of course, doesn't have a whole lot of water in the air. So what you could do is build a bunch of air wells and some water tanks and try and fill up those water tanks and try and have enough water to keep your farms going while you're walking through the desert. Alternatively, if you build a farm, there is cactuses that you can research, and the cactuses can be harvested for water, and that can be used to supplement your farms while you're moving through the desert. So 2 options for you. You can do that. You will end up in the desert at some point. We can't really control Onbu for a little bit yet, so we just kind of are at its mercy, really, until we get our trust up with it. And we're going to continue to get our mushrooms as we continue to do research and grab Onbu Kitchen. And then we will also get an Onbu Trebuchet, and then that's how you will be able to control your Onbu. So you feed it once, and that's, as long as you haven't taken any spikes away, that should be enough to where you are able to control it at the crossroads here. So that's, when it gets to a point like this, you will have a option to go either direction, and you'll see that, and then you'll be able to choose. So it's a very important thing to get. That will be more talked about in our Onbu video, so if you want to check that out, I'll also put that in the description, and also here's another tag for it. That's going to be it for our starting up on the Wandering Village. Pretty basic stuff. If you got any questions or whatever, let me know, and I'll do my best to try and answer them for you. I hope you enjoy this game. I think it's pretty neat. I love the artwork. I think the idea is really cool too. So have a fantastic and amazing rest of your evening, day, or night, and I hope to see you again soon.